As gruesome and stomach-churning as this story sounds, it is based on real-life events. Viewers' discretion is advised. A woman, driven by rickshaw, entered a hut deep into the forest and sugar cane fields of Medan, North Sumatra province of Indonesia. It was late into the night and only to be met by a man called Ahmad Surajee. Surajee was the local shaman and self-proclaimed spiritual healer who claimed to have the ability to communicate with the spirits of the dead and grant women everlasting beauty and riches. A few days before, the women, known as Siri Dewi, had come to see the shaman and was greeted by Surajee's wife. She was ushered in to hear about how many other women had already paid $300 to have a ritual performed on them by Ahmad Surajee. Dewi had become intrigued and felt this was the one-in-a-lifetime opportunity to leave the misery of poverty behind. Ahmad Surajee began the ritual, eventually taking Dewi out into the middle of a sugar cane field. Dewi was instructed to dig a hole and to climb into it whilst facing Surajee's hut. The shaman would then immobilize Dewi waist-deep in mud. Eventually, Dewi would be strangled and murdered whilst being left to rot in the middle of the sugar cane field. The shaman would finish his ritual with drinking the saliva of his victim, thinking he would gain mystical powers. Surajee had 11 years earlier been visited by a demon in the guise of his father. Through this encounter, he was told to commit the murders in this specific order to become a powerful healer. A few days later, Surajee would be arrested by the authorities as news of the missing Dewi spread. The rickshaw driver had came forward to the authorities with vital information of where Dewi was last seen. When the police arrived, the shaman initially denied knowing Dewi, but when Dewi's possessions were found after a search of the hut, the shaman admitted to killing the helpless lady. It later emerged that 42 unfortunate victims had lost their lives through this horrible torturous ritual performed by this vile serial killer. What made this unforgettable was that all his victims had been murdered and their decomposing bodies made to face his hut. Surajee was convicted and sentenced to death in 1998. He appealed the sentence, but it was upheld by the Indonesian Supreme Court in 2001. He was executed by firing squad in July 2008. Be vigilant and stay safe.